gallery and have a look. Again, the starboard side, right side of the vessel is the place to be. Let's take a few minutes and listen to the glacier. Find out what kind of noises, what kind of story it wants to tell us.
¿No necesitas?
No.
No.
¿Segura?
Segura.
No, porque
Está muy lejos y está buena luz. Mira los estos nadando ahí a los pedazos.
¿Los qué?
los pedazos.
Los bloques de hielo. Es lo que les decía yo. Mira, los voy a chapar con un
Acomódense.
Hola.
Es película.
Hola, son
Ay,
las 7 de la mañana y ya estamos aquí con sol viendo el iceberg. Estamos felices y encantadas.
Les mandamos
Salud,
saludos
un
a
cafecito.
todos. A mi compadre
Salud.
Juan, a mi hermanita la Telma, Mague, a todos.
Quítate
porque
tantitito
estamos
los lentes, mini.
felices.
Que te quites los lentes.
Tantito para que se te vean tus bellos ojos. Ándale, mira
It's
qué padre.
beautiful.
Qué padre. ¿Qué se va a acabar este disco?
Espérate para que tomarte yo.
Ay,
estamos.
Resetting as we look forward, right? Now, one of the things that you'll be able to notice is that these big crevasses, these big splits or cracks in the ice, as the ice gets ready to drop, those cracks will open up. And you can actually watch as the crack gets bigger and bigger. And that's one of the things that's happening right now with that big piece that I'm looking at up above, is that we're starting to see it open up. With that, ice drops to the sea. Now it breaks into its smallest denominator, and what we must realize is that this is a brittle substance, and as it moves down slope, it cracks and fissures and breaks and then refuses and then cracks again as it changes topography. There, up above, you're starting to see it happen. Those are those bigger chunks that I warned you about. Now, that's the precursor to a much bigger calving that's going to happen right in that hole right there. Now, there's a whole bunch of big loose stuff that's up above that's getting ready to go. Now, my work when I was with the military was guiding battalions of troops through glacier terrain just like this. I worked up on the Golcana and the Gerstal Glacier up in the interior of the state. Worked out at the Black Rapids training station. And so for me, my job was to move thousands of people through this type of glacial terrain. It's not an easy thing. There are safer and a lot less dangerous locations than places like these giant ice falls where you see the surface all broken and split apart. The crevasses split down to about 100 or so feet down into the ice. At that point, they hit what's referred to as the plastic zone. It's an area of the glacier ice that actually oozes over the landscape, more like a fluid than it does a brittle substance. What you're not seeing, that is very important to realize, is that here, we're seeing about 300, 350 feet of it here above the water surface, but there's quite a bit more down below. Now down below, that tongue of ice actually sticks out away from the wall a little ways. Kind of looks like the toe of the shoe that you're wearing. And so if you can imagine, if you're looking down your leg and seeing your toe sticking out in front of you, well, that's what happens down underneath the water, is that ice actually is a toe that sticks out a little ways out of the water. Now that's one of the reasons that you don't take your vessel right up against the ice, is because that ice down below, when it breaks free, it comes to the surface like an icy near missile, what we refer to as shooters. Now, if you're in close and the shooter breaks free, then it comes up through your hull like an ice sculpture ending up on deck 4 or deck 5. That's not a good thing for a luxury cruise ship. So Captain has brought us to a perfect spot. You couldn't ask for anything more. Right? Go explore. Now, as I sat here in my kayak camp, which pretty much is straight off the bow, one of the things that I quickly realized is just how much sound is in the wilderness, how much is going on. But when you're sitting there so at peace with yourself, it's a magic thing. I wrote into my journals that peace, it's not a place that is necessarily free of noise, trouble, or hard work. But it's a moment when being amongst all those things that you find a calm in your heart and your mind. Second, third pipes that are 20 and 30 feet down are just loaded with glacial silt, rock flour, and as a direct result of glacier